Hey, what's up everybody? It's Devin. Welcome back to the Skills Station. And I have been in virtual reality all day. And let me tell you something, if you don't already know this, when you're in VR for a while, your eyes start to sweat. So watch out for that one. How much fun is that? But I wanted to pop out of VR for a minute to kind of talk about something that's really important to me. And I want to make the case for VR training now, not later. Okay? So let's just talk about why VR, not how VR. Okay, why? A lot of people are talking to me and saying, well, virtual reality can't replace skills, hands-on skills training. And you guys know, if you've been watching any of these videos, if you haven't been watching them, click the bell to subscribe. But you've seen, I'm doing paramedic emergency training, right, in virtual reality, and I'm teaching you guys how to do this. But where's the value in it? For years, we've been training paramedics on how to do their skills in person. Why would we switch to virtual reality? That's the kicker. Switch. We're not switching to virtual reality. We are adding virtual reality to the education. Now, I think that's something a lot of people can't wrap their minds around. I've got faculty members that I know who are afraid that virtual reality is going to replace them, right? But, yeah, I mean, I guess you could be afraid of that. But if you were afraid of that as a faculty member, why wouldn't you get your feet wet and embrace this technology and then use it as a tool? Because that's really how it's used best. It's like that IBM Watson, right? With the doctors. You got IBM Watson and he's diagnosing all of this stuff, this artificial intelligence diagnoser, but it's most effective with a doctor. It doesn't replace the doctor. That's what virtual reality is at its best. So I want you to imagine a scenario where you have these emergency paramedics, and that's you can use insert any training you want there, right? I'm going to talk about emergency paramedics, firefighter training, workforce training, mechanical engineering training. That's not what this is about. You can take any student and put them into virtual reality, and they can practice their skills in a non-destructive environment over and over and over before they actually get to class, and then perform that skill in real life. Not only does it sink in, I mean, there are just studies that you could just start citing about. I could break my own brain with how many studies there are about how virtual reality helps with memory and recall and all that. Yes, it does. But if you don't believe in VR and you're afraid of it, then you don't care if it helps you remember because you're doing it in person. And all it's doing is mimicking what's happening in person. So why is it valuable? It's because you can repeat the skill and you get that muscle memory. You can do it at home. You can do it while you're at the fire station. You can do it when you're in the classroom. If you have classrooms, you can do skills stations set up where the students can see on a television screen what the person in VR is doing, because maybe it's tethered or maybe it's being cast to a television. So you got a room with 10 or 15, 20, 30 students, socially distanced in a COVID environment, and they're watching on a television screen what the student is doing in VR, and the faculty member is talking and saying, Jason, do this, don't do that, watch what he's doing, look at this. And he's getting physical skills training. And let's say your institution has a lesser expensive wireless headset, something like an Oculus Quest, right? And I'm not trying to be a fan of this brand versus that brand, I'm just telling you some examples. Let's say your institution loans out, checks out, maybe the library checks out Oculus Quest to the students. Well, that's pretty cool. Because if you have a student license for the training that you're taking, and I can go home and in the comfort of my living room, I can practice that skill that I failed on the exam yesterday. And I have to retake next week. Well, I want to be a good medic. I want to practice that skill so many times that when I get to it in real life, it's like I don't even have to think about it. It's muscle memory. That's how we get good at compressions. Chest compressions, you're doing CPR and stuff. You have to practice. But what about skills that you don't do very often? Now we're going to go down a road that a lot of people aren't thinking about. What if you are, again, what if you're a paramedic, but you don't go on a lot of overdose calls, just based on your area? Or you don't go on a lot of traumas, or you don't go on a lot of whatever. But it's going to come. It's going to happen. You're going to have to exercise that skill one day. And when that happens, you want to be good at it. You don't want to screw it up because people's lives are on the line. You have to practice. That's why you have to recert every 2 years. You have to do continue education. You have to do your skill stations again. And I mean, come on, like you have to practice. Well, what if we were physically practicing these difficult skills that you don't get often, but I'm practicing it often? I'm actually good at treating that type of patient. And I haven't seen that type of patient in 6 months. How powerful is that? Not just for education, but for improving our EMS overall. I think that is incredibly powerful. And for college and institutions to be able to provide the type of education that tells students not only do we have your back, not only are we top of the line in technology, but we are going to make sure that you don't just get the answer right on the test, but that you understand why and you have tried it. In VR, on your own, at home, in the comfort of your own home. And before you got into your skills station with a proctor and an NREMT representative, and you're sitting there and you're nervous and you're sweating like, oh my God, I have to do this skill for the first time in front of all these people. I'm not a performer. I want to save people's lives in an alley. I don't want to do it in front of on a stage, but that's what testing is like as paramedics. What, wouldn't it be great if I could practice that test, practice that physical test, that skill over and over and over, and I could then rely on my muscle memory? This is the case for doing VR now. So as an institution, how do you do VR now? There's two ways, in my opinion, and I'm sure there's lots of opinions out there, right? My arm's getting tired from holding this video camera up. Okay, you can do it with a tethered headset connected to a computer and a television in a classroom, right? So you make a substantial investment in one headset. It could be, I'm going to just agnostic of brand, but as an example, maybe it's an HTC Vive, okay? You connect it to a television, a computer, and then in class, you cycle the students one at a time. They all have a seat license on whatever software platform you're using to train them. Perhaps it's paramedic education, and they're going through this skills station and they're practicing one at a time, and they go home. And one thing that's really cool about VR patients in particular is that you can do the web-based HTML5, the WebGL version of it. So it's like the virtual reality scene, except for it's just flat on your computer screen and you click through it. It's not quite as immersive, but it still helps with that muscle memory. But you're doing that at home, and then you come into your institution, which couldn't invest in a dozen headsets or 20 headsets to check out, but they have that one. And so you book time, you go in there and you do your skill station. It's like study time. You get in there because you know you have your NREMT exam coming up. So that's one way. And so you create a VR studio, students can come in and they can watch each other do it, and your faculty member can teach and they can get in it. Or scenario two, your institution finds funds, maybe it's like CREASIS funds or CARES Act funds or whatever funding that they can find. Maybe it's a grant, I don't know. But institutions are always looking for ways to get in to technology, and I'm telling you that this is why you should. So here's how. Let's say you do, again, agnostic of brand. Now we're going to switch to Oculus. Let's say you went with Oculus. It's like the most popular one, right? And you did the Quest enterprise version. That's the business version. That means you can load whatever software program you want on it, and multiples, right? And then you control them as an institution. They can't connect to Facebook. The students can't. And you can check those out. They can take the headsets home, or they can bring them into class, and you can all do them in class socially distanced, right? A heads up. Any headset, even especially with this is important with those wireless Quest ones, they don't work well outside because the little IR trackers interferes with sunlight. It's a problem. So you want to be kind of like in an indoor type. You could do like an auditorium or an office, but I'm just saying if you have 30 people, maybe it's an auditorium. If you have an office or a classroom, maybe it's 6 people, right? But as an institution, you can invest in these type of headsets and put multiple forms of education on it. Okay, so those are the two ways to go. That's the reason why virtual reality is so important. And I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I've got to jump back into virtual reality to provide you guys with more videos. So if you have not subscribed yet and you think that this was cool, click on the bell, wherever it is, up, down, left, right, and subscribe for more videos, because we're going to do features, we're going to do skills, and this is the skill station, and that's what it means. So I'll see you on the next VR video. If you hated this video, please comment below and let me know why, so I can fix it and put up another one. If you loved this video, comment below and let me know why, so we can make more just like it. All right, guys, thank you so much for watching. I'm Devin. This is the Skills Station. See you on the next one. Thank you so much for watching another Skills Station video. Please click on the red subscribe button and then click on the bell to get notified when exclusive content drops. Comment below, let us know what you like and dislike, and I cannot wait to see you again in VR. See you on the next one. Just hanging out? Not sure if you're gonna go to the next video? Maybe click on one of these? Huh? Did you hit subscribe yet? You should. We got some good stuff for you.